Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the LOWBAT podcast. On episode 23 of the podcast, we have a conversation with professional ice skater and acrobat, Allison Kymmell. Allison does an amazing job educating Casey and I on the ins and outs of ice skating, from competitions to performance. Allison also talks about the state of the entertainment industry post-pandemic and tells the story of their journey in professional ice skating with Disney on Ice and other skating ventures. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast for new episodes every week. And now, a chat with our friend and ice skating extraordinaire, Allison Kymmell.
You are now listening to the LOWBAT podcast,
a weekly show highlighting members of our local creative community and featuring topical conversations with members of the LOWBAT production team. We're your hosts, Casey House
and Fabian Castaneda. Through our own experiences as musicians, visual artists, and business owners, we saw an opportunity to provide a platform for people just like us to deep dive into what it's like to pursue a lifestyle outside of the norm.
Without further ado, welcome to the LOWBAT podcast.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the LOWBAT podcast. Today we have, Fabian. Hey.
Hi, what's going on?
But more importantly, we have an amazing guest today. We have the incredible ice skater extraordinaire, Allison Kymmell. To be fair, I forgot the cheer. That was I planned that, and I forgot to do it.
You're so good at this.
Yeah,
Casey, why were your fingers in your cup?
So I don't know. Did you switch? Did people see that? Okay, maybe not. If you did, you're welcome. There was like a little hair or something, but it was tiny. It was like minuscule. Maybe it was like a fuzzy, not even a hair.
Fuzzy? Oh,
yeah, it was like a thread.
Pretty gross. Hi, Allison. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you all for having me today.
Of course.
I'm really tired.
I know. Honestly, it kind of hit me about 30 minutes ago. I got really tired too.
Oh no, I had to drive a bunch today, and I'm remarkably tired. So
Dang, had to drive today.
But I'm excited.
Whew.
I'm excited for our incredible guest today. All right, so I'm gonna say the line that everybody keeps making fun of me for. So I wanted to start from the beginning. I think that's what I say, something like that. Your career fascinates me, and it always has, because like I just it's such an interesting passion to have, and to be as successful at it as you are and have it be your career is like really cool. So I've always wondered where that started. So just, I guess, were you a kid? What do you remember the first time you ice skated? Was like a birthday party?
No, it was not a birthday party. For a lot of people, I know it was.
Yeah.
So how I got into skating, and I absolutely remember the first time I stepped on the ice. I was 6 years old and my Oma had passed away. That's my grandmother on my father's side. And she had left money for me and my sister to have ice skating lessons because my father was born and raised and grew up in the Netherlands and Holland. And skating is part of the culture there. Like literally in the wintertime, you have to skate to the grocery store. You have to skate to school, everything.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a thing. It still is there. It's really awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so if you want to get around in the winter, you got to ice skate.
Whoa. What a different kind of life.
Yeah, I unfortunately have never been to Holland yet. Half of my family still lives there, but that's the goal this coming year and the following. So yeah, but so I took ice skating lessons, and the minute I stepped on the ice, I just felt this connection. And I the first time I skated, I did not fall, but then after that, I fell all the time. I still fall to this day, but I just remember stepping on the ice and having this beautiful connection. I was like, oh, I want to do this. Like, I love going fast. And I just like skated around the ice rink. I had my lesson and my sister was on the ice, and me being like the little spawn of Satan I was at 6 years old, I tried like doing circles around her to make her fall.
Did it work?
I don't really remember.
Okay.
I just know I got yelled at by my father.
Fair.
And then I competed the same exact year, and I placed first in all my categories and third in one, and it pretty much was history from there. And I competed until 2013, and then that's when I was like, I want to go pro, and that following November, end of October, I went and did my first professional skating show contract in Colombia, South America, and Yeah.
All right, so that was rapid and immediately got you to where it was a career. I'm curious about the on the way
Oh,
part, like in the
yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
So you were doing it competition style.
Yes, I competed for USFS, which is the United States Figure Skating Club. So for the United States of America, I competed from the age of 6 till 19, if I remember correctly.
How'd you get into that at 6 years old? I feel
They just signed me up for competitions. I didn't really know it was happening. I loved competing. Some skaters are like, oh, my mom forced me to compete. Oh, I don't really like it. I like competing, but like I'm really nervous. Like this one time, I felt really bad for her, and I gave her a hug after. But she was so nervous before they called her on for the ice, she threw up in the trash can.
Oh, no.
And I felt really bad.
I
gave her
get
a hug after. I was like, it's okay. Like, it's all right. But yeah, so I competed in freestyle, which is like normal skating, like what you would see on the TV, like a program laid out. I also did 2 of my favorite categories up until I was 14 because I had to really focus on the freestyle. Was interpretive, which basically you go out there, you hear a piece of music, you have absolutely no idea what it is 2 times, and you have to make up the choreography and program on spot. And I loved it. And I was an interpretive champion almost every time I competed that. And then I did showcase, which is one reason I really wanted to do shows, is so you can have props on the ice and you have these elaborate costumes and it's not focused on the spins and the jump. Like you can have them in the program, but it's all about telling the story and portraying that character. And I had some fabulous programs. One of the first ones I did, and I held it for like 4 years and we would make changes. It was called the Ugly Bug Ball. And I had this lime green unitard, and my mom did my hair like gelled up in braids, but they were sticking straight up. And she sprayed my hair green and made these little like styrofoam balls spray painted green. And I was like this ugly bug and stuff like that. And it's from a Disney song. I don't know what from, but it's like really old. And people loved it. And that was when I knew that skating was like, because at such a young age, the first time I did it, I was 6, almost 7. And a judge stood up and clapped for me when I was done.
Whoa.
And you're not ever supposed to do that. And then I was like 6, and I was like, oh, that was fun. And my coach was like, look, you're not supposed to do that. You're like...
It's like showing favoritism.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won, but...
Oh, yeah, I would figure.
But I was just like, oh, wow, like, I guess I'm good at this.
Oh, that's so cool.
I want to keep doing it. And then the program I had for 10 years with my bestest friend who just got married, Emily Williams, she and I did a Weird Al Yankovic comedy number to the I Love Lucy. That's why we have like I Love Lucy tattoos. And I was Ricky Ricardo and she was Lucille Ball. And it was like his song he did, you know, of them. And we had a baby stroller on the ice. There was a child involved because that was little Ricky. There was a pie. My jacket opened up because there was a line that said burn a hole right through, and it was like an iron burn with like rhinestones, and I would like open it up and be like, ah! And it was like really fun, and we had other props too.
Yeah.
And we did that for 10 years, and we were champions of that, and it was like a very good memory even for us to this day. We're always like, oh my gosh, Ricky and Lucy. And yeah, and even with the freestyle programs, I was never a pretty skater. As you can say, like, I don't skate to ballet music. That's not me. Props to people who can, because I am not a graceful skater. I would say I'm more of a very dramatic, powerful skater. So I would pick my music. And I was very known on the East Coast for having the eccentric music and programs. Like for 2 years, I had this sweet program. It was from The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, and I wanted only the music with every single scene with the Joker in it. And I got a unitard, and it was like the Joker's. It was purple, green, black, and I had one purple glove on one hand. I skated to My Chemical Romance one year,
really?
and that was cut very quickly.
What song?
Black Parade by the Vitamin String Quartet.
Okay.
And I didn't really place that well with it, so my coach was like, you can't have this anymore. And I was like, wah.
That's so lame.
And then I did several like horror movies, but my favorite one that I ended with before transitioning into my final long program was the opening from Dead Silence, and it transitioned into the Saw theme song.
Saw.
And it was awesome.
Oh my god!
Yo,
are there
real
videos
quick,
of all this?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a question. So like, as you've been since you've been like out of like competing, have you ever like watched any of the like competitions or like?
Oh yes, so I grew up competing with a lot of my friends. We're older, but their younger siblings compete. And I do know people and have friends who are still competing, like right now, who are on several our Team USA now and
Allie,
trying to
that's
be.
sick.
Hold that thought. Hello? Hello?
Did he go somewhere else?
I think we have a guest,
Ooh,
possibly.
surprise!
Can you see anybody? Is there anybody over there?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, we'll
All right,
move
it's
on.
haunted. All right,
We
hold
got
on.
ghosts.
Second
Yeah, we do.
question. So, because you were like the eccentric one, have you noticed anyone taking your place as like being, having all the wild music, having like crazy props and crazy for ice skating, I should say.
I showcase
Someone
wise,
jocking your style.
Not passing the torch, son.
Nah, jocking her style.
passing the torch. I haven't seen really anyone do eccentric programs. I'm probably wrong with the name, but someone skated to Metallica for nationals. I believe it was Ross Minor. I think he skated to it, and it was like a Metallica mashup. They were like 3 different songs. And I was watching, so I was like, "Yes, someone's skating to like different music." Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been Ross Minor. I can't remember, but it was someone named Ross, and it was really cool. This was like 2 years ago. No, not really. Mariah Bell. Shout out to Mariah Bell. She was skating to like some really cool songs and stuff, but nothing like from horror movies. No one's I've seen do that. But everyone's talented in their own special way. But I hope to see that. I think skating needs it, and especially now, because when I grew up skating, you couldn't have lyrics in your song, and now you can have lyrics. Literally a year and a half after I stopped competing, USFS was like, "You can have lyrics in your song," and I was
You're like, darn it.
That's an interesting rule. I guess you just played like to instrumental.
It was always just instrumental, but now you can like have lyrics.
That's lame.
Yeah.
I feel like lyrics would be sick.
Oh, and someone skated to like Disturb the Sound of Silence, but I feel like that's not like it was an amazing program, but it's not like oh.
Not as cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned the girl that clearly didn't want to be there. And that was like crying and everything from being forced into doing it at like 6 years old or whatever. And that immediately made me think about, I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, nor do I know if I've really talked about it with any of you guys, but I danced when I was a kid. Yeah. So my oldest brother, Tommy, I don't think you've ever come in contact with him. Nobody really ever has. None of my friends, at least. He still dances to this day, and like he's like part of a company. He's like really doing it. It's awesome. But I was like 6 years old, and somebody in his dance team dropped out who was like my age, and my brother was just like, he'll do it. And so I got roped into competition dancing when I think I was 6, and I did it for I think 2 years, and we went like on like the East Coast a bit, and like actually went and like did like competed and all this stuff, and I can relate. It was fun. I didn't want to be there though. Like I didn't want to. It was so stressful.
Well, that's what's really sad. And it's not just in ice skating. I think it's in a lot of sports, unfortunately. And as I got older, I kind of saw it more, which was sad because when you're competing at the highest level, unfortunately, there's a lot of good things in it, and then there's a lot of bad things like crazy parents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
can
imagine.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things to see is like parents that are way to end something that they're using their kid to do.
And there were so many. It's funny because a friend of mine and I were talking about this the other day. It's very interesting to see who's still doing it, just in general, just like skating for fun these days, who we grew up with, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, and who actually did something with skating and who just stopped completely. And I would feel like really bad for some skaters because like it was sad to watch them. Like they were very talented, but their parents were just awful people.
Yeah. It causes them to burn out.
Yeah. I would hate skating too. I got very fortunate to have amazing parents who were just like super chill about everything, very supportive. Like I was driving up to Northern Virginia during the week through middle school all the way through high school, and I believe in junior year of high school I just lived up there for the week and then would come home on the weekends. And just my parents financially being able to do that is very fortunate, and being homeschooled and able to skate and everything, and they really just prepared me for the career I have today.
Yeah.
And my mom was always so fun at competition. She would stand in like a corner because she would like get nervous for me. And she's like, Allison, if you ever like don't like this, you can quit whenever you want. We won't be mad. And I was like, oh, I'm never quitting. I'm dying ice skating.
This is how I go out.
Pretty much that's the dream. Just like 101, just ice skating, heart attack.
Or a tragic accident, something happens.
Right.
But hope
That's
not,
cool.
knock on wood.
Yeah, we don't need that. No, I mean, I sometimes with like the crazy parents, like you hear the stories where, after a certain age, especially when they get older, they'd be like, I've invested so much money for you to do these like things.
Ugh.
Like that's such a bad way to like twist someone's arm.
I think it's also them trying to live through their children,
Oh, yeah.
or it's like they have trauma in their life and they're taking it out on their child. And I'm just like, you all need therapy.
Yeah.
I'm all about advocating for therapy for people.
Yeah, don't live through your children. Let your children have their own lives, and you just support them.
Yeah.
That's a message to all the parents out there. Let them explore what they're into, but also let them quit. They're kids. Let them quit.
So I wanted to see like the transition from competition skating into what you're doing now.
Oh yeah.
How did that come about? Like when you first got your opportunity to do show?
So I did my last regionals in 2013, and one of my mentors in skating is still to this day who I absolutely adore and look up to, Anna Madorsky. She was like, okay, you want to do shows, we got to prepare you for them, because show skating is 365 different degree from competitive skating. And I really learned that in my first show contract. So you have to prepare an audition reel and a resume, everything like that. And they do have what's called Pro Skaters. It's a website. They post castings, but they also hold 2 times a year auditions. So they were going to have an audition this spring. Well, I had never really skated with a group of people. I've played other sports with groups of people, but you have to, share the ice with like 60 some people sometimes.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So she was like, you should do theater on ice, the senior team here. And I'm going to do it because I'm not doing shows this year. And so I'm like, yay, I get to skate with like one of my heroes.
Nice.
And she was like, I was doing lessons with her, learning, skating on smaller speed into things, making audition reel and stuff. So I did the senior theater on ice team, which started right when I stopped and finished my competing in singles. And that would go through the spring of 2014. So I did that and competed. We went to nationals, and I started applying for shows. And she goes, oh, in March, Knoxville is having a Pro Skaters Live audition, which it's kind of, I looked at it like, oh, it's a competition, but I need a job. So it's ice with no boards. It's a really cool rink, the Ice Chalet in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. And they have a table at the end of the ice, and it's some of the top producers in the world. And you skate out and you hand them like a resume. So basically a skating resume. I hadn't done any shows. I listed all like the tests I completed, like, in like Christmas shows I've done, all my competition rankings, stuff like that. And you have like a full body picture and a portrait photo, because this is show business. And yeah, you go up and you hand it to them, each one, and it's like slightly intimidating, but I was like, hi, I'm Allison. And you just go out and you do your program. And I did, and it went fabulous. I skated to such a fun song by Fergie, A Little Party Never Killed Nobody. And that afternoon I was in the car, because you get to talk to the producers after. And one of the best compliments I ever got from Judy Thomas, with the casting director from Disney on Ice, she's like, you just look like Snow White, because at the time I had my fringe, my bangs here, and I have black hair but really pale skin, and I was like, oh, she's my favorite Disney princess, because she like loves animals and I'm obsessed with animals. And then that afternoon, like, I got emails from 3 producers. They're like, oh, we don't have shows right now, but like we want to hire you like for when we do have shows kind of deal.
Wow.
And then I had a friend in Colombia, South America on a show through Hot and Cold International Entertainment, which is based in England, but she does shows all over the world, not just skating, but like dancing and circuses and stuff. And they're like, oh, like they're going to be having an opening here. Get in contact with Nikki, and Nikki still to this day is actually my agent for a lot of international gigs I do. And she's like, we have this circus show, it's on ice. And I was like, a circus on ice? Oh no, that's the circus, Circo Russo. Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
That's baby Allison at 20 years old. Don't show my father that photo. Absolutely not.
That mask.
Yeah, it was such a fun number, and that's actually Patricio. He was like my little partner for like little baby lifts and stuff. One of my first boys I skated with, which it was super fun, and I wasn't intimidated at all. I'm just like, just throw me in the air. Like, it's fine. I'm a daredevil.
I wouldn't
I'll catch
expect
myself,
anything
it doesn't
less
matter.
from you, though.
Yeah. He's from Chile, actually, and he's such a beautiful soul. But yeah, and it's actually a circular ice rink, which is really different. Usually they're square or rectangular, but it made it really fun for like spins and other stuff. And I was there for almost 2 years, and that was my very first contract.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then I learned to do a little bit of aerial there, and that's when I got into my aerial work and fell in love with trapeze. So, yeah.
So your first like gig was just in South America.
Yeah, I just got on a plane, and to be honest, I got on a plane. I got to South America. I landed in Bogota, and I had to be picked up from the airport. And like I speak Spanish pretty much fluently now. Then not so much. Should have paid more attention in Spanish class, but I knew like a little bit to kind of get around. And these people are just like talking to me in this truck, and I'm like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? And I'm like not understanding a word, and they're just like having a direct conversation with me, and I'm just like nodding. And I don't have internet yet because you have to like buy it by country. I'm just like, all right. And I get there, and it's like this big, beautiful circus tent. And I'm just like, oh gosh, what have I done? Where am I? But then like I learned the show, and everyone was absolutely the nicest people I've ever met and worked with. And 2 of the people are now like some of my bestest friends to this day ever. And I'm very thankful. Like my friendships I made on my very first 2 contracts I ever skated, because we're like family.
So while you're on that first contract, just going through it, what led you to finding the next one? And also, what was the next one? But I'm curious about, like, you're happy here with this one. What led you to trying to find another one and then signing it? Or did they approach you?
No, I kind of applied, if I'm remembering correctly. I think one company in Germany contacted me, but I had already left. And so I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'd love to work with you in the future, but I can't right now. It was getting towards the like last 2 months of the contract, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to do something different. It's not like I didn't like the company. I just wanted something different.
Yeah.
So I was applying to about 8 or 9 different companies, and one of the ones I applied to was Roston Ice Shows and Rink Designs, based out of West Palm Beach, Florida, but it was for a Miami show. And I really had seen like their promotional videos, and they just seemed like an amazing company. And the cool thing about that was it was a month contract. So for the other shows that were starting their rehearsals in the summer, this was like a spring contract, like March through April. I was like, okay, like I'll have a little bit of time at home, and these rehearsals don't start till like June, July, if I get that kind of deal. And it was really cool because the first email I got was, we are fully casted, but we'd love to work with you. And then one day, and this does happen a lot in show business, I've learned, and you just always have to be prepared, like at the drop of a hat. I don't remember what I was doing. I was like in the den with both my parents just hanging out, and I get a phone call, and they're like, we had a girl drop out. Can you be on a plane in 5 hours?
Whoa.
And I was like, absolutely. I can be there.
Oh my God.
And I'm so glad, because Roston and Laura Lee Godino are some of my favorite, most inspirational producers I've ever worked for. I've become very close with their son and daughter. They're like some of my best friends, and they're just a lovely family. And what I love about them is they really put so much into a production, like the detail, the level of just detail, how they execute it. And they really do care and love their performers and look out for them. And sometimes even with big companies, you don't get that. Like, it's a great show and stuff, but you don't have that personal one-on-one connection and that like attention to detail. And I think that's so important in show business. So, yeah. And I've worked for them multiple times since I actually just came back from a contract in West Palm with them. And it was the first show back from the pandemic. So it was very emotional. And I got to work with some of the top skaters in the world and 2 of my best friends. So it was just great.
It's really crazy to see how far it's come. Like, obviously you've been doing it forever, but you're talking about skating with the top people basically. And that just...
It's very... It was like... I didn't know who all the cast was, and when I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I felt so honored and humbled to also be, because it's a small cast, and to just be asked back because everyone's out of a job. I was just so blessed and humbled by it. And then I got to skate with like 3 people I've wanted to do like a big show with for a really long time that I look up to, and I was just like, oh, this is just amazing to just share the ice with them and get to know them on a one-on-one basis. Because it's like we did 83 shows with no days off. And we're like, it was four
really?
shows Monday through Thursday and 6 shows Friday through Saturday because they wanted to space it out due to COVID, like the seating and stuff. So you're with these people almost 24/7. And
you're doing multiple shows per day?
Yes.
Oh my God.
In South America, I was doing 3 shows on the weekends and 1 during the week.
The shape you have to be in to handle that. Unbelievable.
I have a lot of vegan protein.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And energy drinks. And Dunkin' sponsor me. Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
I'm also curious about for something that's like a month contract. Do they put you in a hotel? Do they have like?
It varies. Yeah. For some companies, I have been in a hotel, and they're just amazing hotels, and I love it. And they always have a fridge and microwave, which is cool because I do cook in the hotel and everything. 2 times I was in an Airbnb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So which was nice. It's a house. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming because some people don't like to take the trash out and then you get cockroaches.
Oh, wait. Are you? Oh,
like
have you ever shared like for the entire month had to share an Airbnb or share a hotel with people?
Oh, like a roommate? Yeah. I have a roommate most of the time, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and usually like you find out who the cast is, and if you're not assigned roommates off the bat and you know a person, you can ask. Like this last contract, one of my best friends, Veronica, and I, we saw each other's name and was like, do you want to room together? And we roomed together. Like the producers usually don't care as long as you're adult about it and everyone is happy kind of thing. Or if like that sometimes the producers know you really well and they're like, oh, they get along, let's put them together. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just, it's fun.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely like it makes sense. I was just curious about
it. Sometimes I had my own room on some shows, but that's kind of rare.
One of these days they need to do a like what's a good example of a hype house that
a reality show?
Yeah, or like a reality show. Just like get one big house and just put everybody in there.
Can I tell you a secret? We would all never have jobs after that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Entertainers,
but like you have another job because they put a film crew there, and you make a show. It's like Disney on Ice, but like
we would all be
behind the scenes
so fast. Not me though. I'm an angel.
Never do anything wrong. For Virginia Beach, obviously, like growing up in this area, how much support is there locally for ice skaters, if any?
That's a really good question.
She did mention that she would live in Northern Virginia for a very long time.
I skated here on the weekends still, and sometimes on Mondays, and I do still coach here locally. Show skating, if you want to do show skating, I would say come see me.
Okay.
Because I'm the person to see. Competitive skating, we do have a fabulous skating director, Jill Stewart at Chilled Ponds. She's really formed the program, especially from you starting out as a first-time skating, especially our adult program. That's the one thing I really love and still contribute and help out with is our adult skating program here. We also do have some Special Olympic skaters still in the area, which is also, I think, a big need and to keep in the area as well, and that's very important to me, is supporting the Special Olympics. But yeah, Chilled Ponds in Chesapeake, they have a great skating program, and it's for all ages, all abilities, and yeah, Jill Stewart just runs a really great program there. We also, in our area, since I've come back, I've noticed a big hype in ice dancing, which makes me really excited. I have taken some of my ice dances, but I haven't finished them all. That is a goal of mine. But ice dancing is a lot different than a lot of skating you see on the TV. You do see ice dancing on TV, but not a lot of people hype it up as it should be. It focuses on like dancing, like you would on the floor, the artistry, the edges, and there's no jumping in it. They're usually at the higher levels. There's like 1 or 2 basic spins you do with your partner, and there's minimal lifts, but there's no overhead lifts. And it's just really pretty and graceful, and I think it needs to be appreciated in skating, and it's excellent training for lower level skaters, even in freestyle, because it gets them more using power and edges and down in their knees and things like that, and really forming the artistry that they should, as I probably should have had as a competitive skater, but I'm like, no, we're gonna like moshing on ice. But yeah.
I mean, but that's part of what like why I think it's an interesting thing is like obviously as an outsider, I don't hear about it. I don't know about the support that exists, and I'm sure that there's a lot of kids that might go to like a birthday party or whatever, go ice skating and be like, that was really fun, and like never explore it, never know that there's even a place to go. So
yeah, definitely Chilled Ponds in Chesapeake, and if you're on the other side of the water, Hampton Roads Iceplex. So
okay.
Hang on, I have just one question.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi. So the way you described it is I didn't take all my ice dances. What do you mean by you didn't take them? Is it like...
So in ice skating, you actually have tests you have to take for different disciplines. I'm a triple gold USFS medalist, and I want
Can
all
you put
of
that
them.
in like... Can you like equate that to like a belt and like a martial art?
Oh, it's like the black belt
Oh,
of figure
fuck
skating
yeah.
times 3.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Fuck somebody
Oh, I
up.
like this right here.
We got a thing here.
Oh my.
Is this accurate?
Well, that's a really... I don't know what she's doing with her arm in the fish lift. And I wish her knee was straight.
Ooh,
Dang.
criticize
Come
the
on,
photo.
Damn,
Sam,
yo.
right now.
But other than... And I don't know why he's like... She looks like... I don't know what this is, but that's nice. And I don't know what that... That is bad. This? Nay.
Okay.
I do not teach that.
Break it down for. I'm an idiot, but I'm learning how to ice skate. Tell me why that's me. What I do wrong.
Nick Perna's really going to like me for this. All right, we're going to have a dartfish lesson.
Let's do it.
So when you rotate, her knee shouldn't be pointing that way. It should be pointing in. Your toe shouldn't be pointing out away from you. It should be pointing in and down because you want ankle bone to ankle bone.
Oh, I see separation.
Yeah, so that needs to be pointed there, and her knee needs to be pointed there. So it's like, wow.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah. One, that's horrendous. People
Like
would
for
be rolling
safety?
in their grave right now. And also, if you want it, like her double, she could do a double jump. Is it pretty? It probably isn't pretty. She probably has a slower rotation than most people. She could never do a double axel after that or a triple. Like, honey, if she could, wow.
What do you
Fuck
think
'em
you're
up.
doing?
Tell them about
It's
themselves.
just horrible technique. Go back to the drawing board.
I'm a stickler because it was like embedded in me from several Olympic coaches growing up.
It's also why you're so successful.
It's called, you want a nice H to a D position because it looks like an H when you're here. And then when you cross your legs down, it makes a D. Ankle bone to ankle bone. Yay.
So like you
beyond
just
me.
Way
watch
over the
people
head.
skate. So are you at the point now where you're like watching ice skating on TV and you're just like, no.
Oh, I'm
bad,
horrible.
terrible.
My
You're
friends
just-
and I were in the rink practicing the other day, and it's so bad. And we were just like, we looked at each other at one point, and we're like, we're just horrible people. Oh my gosh.
Just tell them, just walk out to them on the ice, be like, take them off.
I'm
home.
really a nice person, I swear.
You don't
But
deserve
I
to
think
wear
that's
these.
You don't
coach-
deserve these.
I think that's the coach in me is I see stuff that when I was younger I didn't like. I knew, but I didn't understand. And as being a coach now, I'm just like, like
I need to fix that right now.
Like even with my students, I was like, let's like I take them to the wall, and I'm a huge person on drills, not just throwing yourself into something, just like drill, because it's all muscle memory, and it's about in a safe environment, doing it safely and creating that habit and that muscle memory. So
I feel like that's me when I'm in the bowling center and I see a bunch of open bowlers like trying to be good, and then just like, man, you're never gonna be good if you keep doing that. I was like,
There's a
offer
reason why I
lessons.
refuse to ever let you watch me try to bowl.
Well, no. Here's the thing, I have customers and clients that like want to be good.
Oh no, I know I'm
See,
bad,
there's
and I'm
a
okay with
difference.
it.
You're okay with
There are
the-
things I'm good at. Bowling is not one of them.
Yeah, so like I'll see people that are like regular customers, and you know, if they want help, I'll give them help, but like they gotta ask for it. I don't know. That's weird.
You just sit there and you're just like awful.
oh no,
So bad.
I might like if I'm nice enough, I might give them a tip, but like some people, I'm just like, no, there's no hope for you.
oh no. I would never say that. I'm a very encouraging.
Well, I'm not
positive
gonna say it. I'm saying that in my head,
Uh-huh.
and I'll just be like, man, you know what would probably help? A new bowling ball. Come buy one.
I have that for drumming a little bit, but I have no reason. Like I have no right to be. Like you have the credentials and the history to back it up. I don't. So like I consider myself a decent drummer, and I'll look at people and be like, oh my god, like just stop playing the drums. Especially people who have been doing it longer than me and more consistently than me, and that are just so much worse. I'm like, I feel like you're too far gone. It's like when you're like 30 and you've been playing drums since you were 12, and you just don't have it. I'm like, all right, you're so far gone in like muscle memory.
That is a thing.
Yeah, it's like you can't go back to the basics at this point.
There's a developmental thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't relearn. So it's like you're gone. Sorry, that's as good as you're gonna get.
I feel really bad. I'm gonna finish answering your question.
Oh, to be interrupted.
You have moves in the field, which is slightly boring, but it's really a necessity. And then you have freestyle, pairs, dance, and then figures. And then you have also like solo ice dance where you skate it by yourself too in your internationals. But you have to like take all these tests to pass. And when you compete, you have to take moves in the field with your freestyle test. And you can't move up in competing until you've passed like, you know, this level of moves in the field with the freestyle test. That's how it works. The same thing if you were doing pairs or ice dancing, you have to do the moves in the field with the ice dancing. Figures, you don't do figures anymore. You can still take the tests. Like I want to take my figure tests when I'm 30 plus years old. Those are like old school, like cool stuff, like making the circles on the ice, like Peggy Fleming. And you can still like take your tests and get your gold medal for it. But like that's not a requirement to do anymore. Yeah.
That's cool. Also, real quick, fuck you, Casey. Anyone can learn anything at any age.
This is true.
Okay.
We need more adult ice skaters, especially boys.
Ooh, okay. That
Casey,
leads
that's
me-
all you.
No.
I feel that I
Do
feel
you
that with
see? Do you
gymnastics.
see me?
Yes, I see you.
No, hold on, Casey.
Casey, you're
Get it-
graceful as fuck. I've seen you.
There's way too much man here.
No, Casey.
There's
I swear to
never
God, if
enough
you learn
man.
tumbling,
Okay.
Casey, if you learn tumbling and gymnastics, you'll be fucking unstoppable.
So I honestly I considered it because we had a trampoline growing up, and I was the first one to learn how to do a backflip. It happened accidentally, but
That sounds
once,
terrifying.
But once the
But he
rotation
lived.
was done, I got double bounced. I got double bounced on the edge. So I was like doing my thing,
And see,
jumped, and then
instinctually, you just knew.
here's the trampoline for reference. Here you go. I'll put it in frame. And I jumped, and my buddy double bounced me, but I landed right here and went boom, and flipped back. And because of that, I did the rotation. I felt the like gravity or whatever. Landed on like my back or whatever, and I was like, I think I get it. Got up, did a backflip. I just my brain was like, oh, I got it. And then I was able to do a backflip. And then I actually got pretty good at doing like a bunch of flips and just like for a bigger dude, because I've been a bigger guy for a long time. I like started to kind of figure that stuff out, and I was like, man, it would actually be really cool to like learn how to do flips like properly and do all that kind of stuff. But I never.
Can we
got
get
into
a LOWBAT trip to like a trampoline park?
yes,
I fucks with some trampolines.
Yeah, absolutely, we should.
there's a gymnastics studio by where I work.
Hey.
And they do like free, like it's a open floor, I think it's called, and people just go out there and they just do whatever.
Is it Jim Strata? Or
Probably.
Is it Ocean Tumblers?
It's Jim Strata.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I only know the one at Lynn Haven.
I don't know. There's like there was only one for the longest time. I think it's called Cloud 9, and then like a bunch opened up. I guess it became.
I used to hang out at the one at Lynn Haven because I had a friend that worked there, and I would just go sit there all day.
I think
never
Lizzie.
actually
I think
bounced
Lizzie
up.
twisted her ankle at the one in Lynn Haven.
Oh. You are correct.
found a sticker.
I am not fond of trampoline parks. Because
Really?
I always
They
seem to
are.
hurt
It is a
myself.
very dangerous sport. I can vouch for that because my friend's boyfriend is a professional trampoline person. It's dangerous. You can break your back.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah,
Get
I
pretty
also
high
He
up
signed
there.
all the waivers.
for reference, I also have a bad back, so like I shouldn't be
You
doing
should
any of
ice
that.
skate.
You said I should?
Yeah, ice skating. You can look it up in several medical journals. It's very recommended for people like with arthritis and for older people to get
Really?
moving and blood circulation. Yeah.
I that was another thing that I did, and my first time doing it, obviously really bad for like I couldn't stand still or whatever. And before we left, I was able to like go really fast backwards. I just like kind
Picked
of
it up.
started getting it.
Already
Yeah.
in basic too.
Yeah, and then I learned how to do the like screech stop thing, like the really rapid. Except for
hockey
one
stop?
time, a hockey stop. Is that what that is?
Hockey
Yeah,
stop?
and it like spits
Ooh.
up ice. Except one time, and I never did it
Oh,
again.
no.
I ate.
Fucked yourself up, huh?
You hit the toe pick, didn't you?
I don't know. I was pretty young. I was probably like 12, and it was just me and my dad. And my dad was not ice skating, and it was at a place where like he was on the other side of the glass. And I went, Dad, look at this. And I tried to stop, and I went. My face planted into the glass, and I hit the ground so hard.
That's so sad.
What's
it
this,
was-
Dad?
That's lit. Let's go.
My dad just like watched his son die. I went bam, like
I have
hit
had
so
some epic
hard.
falls.
Hey,
Really?
But,
Yeah,
but did
yeah.
you stop though?
No, I got up and I was just like,
You just
anyways.
kept going.
I got up and I started skating away, and so he couldn't see me sniffling. And I was just like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm okay. I got through it though.
I will say that is
Congratulations.
the worst when you just. It happened to like I can't say it hasn't happened to me because it has. When you're just in the middle of a program and you just keep falling and you have to finish the program, it is the worst feeling. And you can't cry, you can't make anything until you get in the locker room or backstage. It's happened.
It's a hard ground. Ice is
Just
hard
like,
as shit.
and it's not just that; it's like your pride
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that.
and embarrassment.
Have you? Is there one that comes to mind? I'm gonna make you relive your worst memory.
Competitive or professional?
Whichever is juicier.
They're both pretty good. One is actually pretty viral.
Oh, there's a video of it?
There is a video of the professional
Lizzie.
one. It's on Instagram. Like it
No, we
was
don't have to pull it
reblogged
up.
by 2 fall accounts on Instagram during quarantine.
Oh no.
Oh no, I was all about it. You have to learn to like laugh at yourself. And
Yeah,
looking-
yeah,
it was
own
also
it.
from my first professional contract.
Oh.
What happened? Tell the story.
Okay, so that fall, it was the end. I believe we did 4 shows that day because sometimes on holidays you have to do like 4 shows, and these shows were 2 hours long. And I did like everything in the show, of course, because it's an American. She can do everything. And in finale, it's like this whole like Russian number. Like there's a jump rope involved, and and then you all present like the ensemble comes forward, the specialty act comes forward, they take a bow, the pair team comes, they take a bow, and then the 2 soloists, the boy and the girl. And so me and the guy come forward, we do like our little wave, but how I ended it, because the music's like dun 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 dun. They're like, oh yeah, Allison's gonna do a spin at the end, and she's the only one there, and everyone else is presenting her.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
center of attention.
Yeah, so I do like my death drop spin, which looks like, you know, I kick up in the air really high, like a little mini aerial, and I spin, and then I'm supposed to do this pose. I think I was just really tired and over it because I went to do it's like a 3 turn. It looks like this, and then I just like throw myself in the air. When I threw myself in the air, I just fell on my face.
Oh no.
And you can hear the people go, ah, because it's being filmed from like the sound booth, and I'm just like, I have to do something. And this is like why I was the champion at interpretive. I just get up and I do like a spin with my knees, with my arms, and I'm like back, and I just hit a pose on the end of the music while lying on the ground. And then it goes to a play.
I mean, that's what you got to do, right?
And I was in so much pain.
Everybody went, oh, and then you did that, and they were like, okay, all right.
Yeah, they were like,
Just like, there it is. All right, hell yeah.
yeah, that was really funny. And then one year I competed. It was the first time. Was it the first time? Yeah, it was the first time I competed senior ladies, which was a big deal. Like, that's the top level for competing. Like, they go for blood there. And I was like the new kid on the block. So they're like, oh, she's going down. And I was competing in Maryland. So, of course, she's going down because you have like New York, New Jersey, all those people. You get a few like Boston people if you're lucky. But these people have been competing for like years. Like some of these are like national level skaters. And I'm just like, hi guys, what's up? And it was really hard because 2 weeks prior to that, my friend unfortunately committed suicide. So it was like a lot for me. And I'm just like, okay, I'm new at this. Like I'm still processing these feelings that haven't processed. But it's good. It's great. And of course, like my coach, like my head coach, unfortunately couldn't go. I don't remember the reason why. So I had a friend put me out, like my choreographer. And usually I do fine with other people putting me out. I didn't do fine because they were like, yeah, so we're going to change this, this, and this. And yeah, in the warm up before I would skate my program. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening in my life right now. And I was like, this is good. I don't.
Already too much.
And like, I'm not a person to say no. I'm a very like yes person. I would never say like no to my coaches when they tell me to do something either because I trust them. And I'm sure I could have done it. I think it was like a thing of nerves and my head not being there and everything. I fell 3 times in that program. Oof. The disappointment. I had to go home and tell my head coach that I fell 3 times, and the first time as senior lady. In my long program, I think I only fell once in my short. I did not place by any means necessary. I got second to last in the long, but I was like, hey, it wasn't last place.
Hey,
so,
you know,
Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
And then I just came home and I was like, I never want to do that again. Like, meaning I never want to fall again. And so I just trained because I had another competition. There were 2 different competitions at the same rink in Maryland because it's a big rink for hosting because they have 4 ice rinks there, especially for like internationals. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to do this. And so I trained like 2 program run-throughs a day, which is hard. I was in the gym. I was going. And I got out. And this video is on YouTube, and I'm very proud of it because it was an international competition. There were there were 3 U.S. girls competing, and one of them was my best friend, Emily, and the other, Jessica Q, and everyone else was like from Ireland, 2 people from Mexico, Canada, random countries. I'm like, who are these people? Why are they here? And I get there and it's actually that wasn't in Maryland. That was Delaware. It was Wilmington, Delaware. Those people can't drive.
Oh, yes.
Shouts out.
And I did a pretty good short program because you always do your short program first. And I went to the long program and I was skating kind of in the middle. And again, my head coach wasn't there, and I don't think she could have put me on because she's what's called a technical caller. So it's kind of like a judge, but not. They're just like saying the elements, but you can't like be on a judging panel if you have a student like conflict of interest.
Yeah, makes sense.
So a coach like I grew up skating with put me on, and like I feel comfortable with, and I'm just like, this is not going to happen again. Definitely not here. And I remember I kind of watch people, the skater before me, I kind of don't. Like, I just kind of like look, and if I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. Like, I support them. If I'm not feeling it, you don't have to watch them. But I think I was doing like 50-50. And I remember the skater before me was going, and I just was like jamming to Dying Fetus in my headphones.
Get yourself psyched.
And my coach tapped me on the shoulder and was like, okay, take like your jacket off your guards because it's getting towards the end of our program. And then he turned to me, he's like, you can win this event. Because I guess everyone was not skating that great.
Mm.
And because there was like 3 skaters after me and it was done. Like that was the end of the group. And so I get on and I just remember like, I feel this, like I'm going to do it. And the music started and I was like, bam. And it was one of the best programs I had done that entire season. Like everything was so solid, spot on, so solid that I forgot to do a spin. And I didn't know that until after the program was done. And I get off, like I was like, yes, like I did it. I was stoked. Like I landed, everything was so perfect that I was like, if I do this program, like I could go to sectionals, blah, blah. It was still like early in the season. This was like June of this year. And I get off the ice and my coach is like, oh my God, that was phenomenal. He's like hugging me. He's like, you did it. Like, oh my gosh, you landed the double axel. You did this jump. Because I had a secret jump in my program because it was like the last year I was competing. I taught myself to do an axel the opposite direction because I'm a weirdo. So I would do a double Lutz, double loop, and I would, if I remember this correctly, double Lutz, double loop. I would like step and jump the other direction, like with a 3-turn without putting my foot down and do an axel as like my little surprise. And they didn't really know how to judge it back then. They do now. I'm sure it's been like 8-9 years. And yeah, and he's like, oh, you did that? You held your spins? Because like you have to hold your spins for a count. I'm like, but something felt weird, Allison. It's like you were missing something. I was like, no, like I did that.
I nailed that. Yeah.
I was like, I did the spiral sequence. Like I held everything. I did my hydroplane. Like all the combinations were there and we're like hugging each other. And then we were like, we both looked at each other at the same exact time. And I was like, oh, I didn't do a spin. And it's like you have 3 spins in your program and like that's worth almost 10 points.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and I got second place by like, I would have gotten first by, I believe it was a 10th of a point or something. Canada got first place. Shout outs to Canada.
Hey.
And
this
I was
one.
the only U.S. girl on the podium. I believe England came in third, but I don't know how that happened. Like I had really great scores, obviously, but it's like I didn't even do a spin, and the program you can't tell, like looking at the video, and I didn't even know. And never in my whole skating career have I forgot a program or like an element. And I just remember him being like, "Don't you dare tell Sandy."
So do they know what it's going to be?
As a senior lady, when you compete, like the highest level in skating, it doesn't matter if it's singles, pairs, dance. You have what's called a planned program content sheet. So before the competition, you have to enter in order the elements, just so the judges and the technical caller. So there's a lady with like headphones and a microphone with the judge panel, and then the technical specialists. And they call them like, oh, double axel, double toe.
Whoa.
And they're skating into it. They're like, serpentine step sequence or straight line step sequence, or CCOSP, which is combination spin, change of foot, change of position, just so they know what's kind of happening. Like you don't have to do this element exactly. Like sometimes something happens like in a warm up or just when you're skating, you're either going to like downgrade a jump. Oh, this is the bad boy.
Oh, is this the fall?
Well,
I don't know why my nose is running. That's so gross. Ew. Yeah, that's it. There she goes.
Oh, that spin though.
Not the ending.
Honestly,
yes,
that was
Pizzazz.
fantastic.
Pizzazz. Oh, wow.
Wow, they really leave you out there by yourself.
They were like, bye.
That spin on your knees was awesome though.
Thank you. My hip really hurt from that fall.
that
You were
looked
like,
that was a lot of weight that just went straight onto that hip.
I did cry when I got off the ice, but now I laugh.
That's good. At least do that.
You have to learn to laugh at yourself.
That's really I guess it's not that surprising, but it's just interesting that they know, like they're getting a readout, basically move for move, and what they're judging isn't creativity. It's.
Oh, you have like other scores, like it's just so they know what's happening, so they know what's going on. Sometimes
Okay.
they need a little.
Yeah, it's almost like a cheat sheet, so they see if you can execute what they were expecting.
Yeah, but you
they
are
have a lot of
scored
people that
on
they're
music
watching.
technicality, creativity, choreography. Those are separate from the elements that they can.
Oh, okay.
Everything has a base value and a starting value. You just don't want negatives. Zeros are okay because that means you still get the base value, but you just don't want negatives.
Oh.
You want pluses.
Scoring systems. They're always
IJS,
complicated.
Someone once told me, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. Someone once
be,
told me, I
ambiguous.
won't say their name, but they're really funny. And they said the IJS judging system was just created by a bunch of drunk Russians smoking weed. And I believe it firmly.
and that's the system you're stuck with now. Nobody wants to.
I don't compete anymore. Well, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
so I
fair.
did my first competition for the first time in 8 years. In March, it was virtual. It was hosted by PSA, the Professional Skating Association US Open. And so it's basically just for professional skaters. So it's just, all of us show skaters hanging out and like, oh yeah, well, I guess we'll get together and compete. This is a thing. And it was really fun. And virtual was really different. But we got to be judged by a lot of great people, including Frank Carroll, and he had some fabulous things to say about me. And honestly, that's all I cared about. And I was just so happy. And it was a good experience to just do a program again with people.
Yeah,
So. And in a professional environment, not competitive. These are all professional skaters. So, oh no,
More
this
stuff.
is so old. I was a baby. What are we gonna do here? Not the double lots. And this is in Fairfax Ice Arena in Northern Virginia. Oh, could have had a little more glide out of that out.
Hey,
See,
just-
to me, that was perfect. But
I
obviously,
know,
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah.
I was
I know we're looking
19
at
then, and
Really?
I'm going to be 27 next week. So
happy early birthday.
thank you.
One thing that specifically, I just talked to my brother about this. Again, the one who's in dance. So on his side, I was very interested in your career being in a similar field to an extent. I'm curious about where, how do I word this? The age of acceptance is. Does that make sense? So you get to a point where it's your body isn't going to
Retiring?
be able to handle doing
Talking
it
about
anymore.
retiring.
Well, maybe retiring from being actually on the ice. I'm not saying you're anywhere near that point, but I'm just.
Show skating or teaching? Because people teach until they're 100 years
That's
old.
what I was curious about. Is what are you interested in? What would you want to be judging? Would you want to be working behind the scenes? Would you want where would you find yourself?
My parents actually asked me this question recently during the pandemic. I will do show skating until I physically can't anymore. There are people in shows I know that are 60 years old still ice skating.
Wow.
They can still do it. Even some pair skaters in their late 40s, they're still going. Mama and papa, wow, they're phenomenal skaters and you can do it. It's just what your body allows. But it's also keeping, in shape, taking care of yourself, not just physically, but also mentally. I think that that's a huge thing too with it. And the fact that you love it. If you love something, you can do it for as long as you can.
Yeah.
But I am interested in working behind the scenes. I have several times, not just on ice shows, but for some other things, worked as stagehand and just stage manager, assistant stage managing. And I do really would love to do that, but actually with touring bands. And hopefully I'm going to Illinois with my friend's band Bandit to do not just some media work, but hoping to do some more on stage stuff while they're on the stuff in
Whoa.
between shows. But yeah, that's later down the road. Sometimes with contracts, I am able to ice skate and do stagehand work, which is awesome. And it's a great experience too. But yeah, I want to do show skating until I can't anymore,
Oh, yeah.
especially with the aerial I do now as well.
Yeah, you mentioned you had started some new stuff.
yeah.
Oh, wow, right on cue.
That's Princess Leia. That's the name of my trapeze because I'm a weirdo. Yeah, that was actually the first time I did it on the ice. That's in St. Paul, Minnesota from several years ago because I have bangs. But yeah,
there's the hair.
there's the famous hair.
I like the blonde.
Thank you. Yeah, I fell in love with aerial. I love the feeling of flying. That's what I love in skating in general is going fast and just flying through the air. And aerial makes that 1,000 times more real. And to do it in ice skates is just the daredevil side of me, because I'm just like, how crazy can we get in ice skates? All right, let's fly around in the air upside down. And I was very fortunate because not this past year due to COVID, but before that I was in France and I was doing trapeze there as my first very trapeze contract. I was doing it in shoes at the time, and I was about to transition to it in ice, but unfortunately COVID happened. So maybe you'll be seeing me doing it in a contract this year. We'll see. But yeah, it was just so surreal because the first time I did the program, I got it filmed and I put it on Facebook, and my mother was like, this is absolutely terrifying. Why are you that high in the air? And I didn't realize how high I was in the air until I looked at the video. But I remember it's a similar move to this where I'm upside down so I can like see the floor beneath me. And when you're spinning, you really don't see how high you are up in the air. But there was a point where I was like doing like a spin like this with like one leg, and it took a second. I looked down and I could just see the pretty colors of like the red and white. It was like this formation. And I was just like, wow, like this is incredible.
Yeah.
And it was just breathtaking for a moment. And I loved it. And I was doing straps as well with my partner Gabby from Brazil. And that was really fun too. I'd never done straps. And one day he's like, yeah, you're going to do this with me. And I was like, I am. Am I going to die? And he's like, no, you'll be great. And we got to do the shows together. So that was fun too. And I hope to do that in ice skates this year too.
And it's never been worked into anything yet. Like any
on ice?
Yeah.
That was all floor. We'll see. I'm waiting for some job opportunities to just come through and go ahead. So there is options, but you could see it before the year's over.
So where are you off to next? What can you actually announce?
Nothing yet.
Oh, no.
Not much.
It's kind of like I should know in the next like 2 weeks, hopefully. I have had 2 job offers internationally in Mexico and France. I am waiting to hear back from some other people before I commit to anything. So positive vibes, because oh no.
Oh man.
Happy Pride Month!
What's
Press the play button. I am very, very.
This is me.
out of the way.
I'm actually like TikTok famous now. I didn't know that was like a thing until a couple days ago. But this beauty, not this exact video, but another one, is on TikTok. This is me.
Oh,
being my weird self. As
as
a vegan straight edge person in the gay community, I get really weird and creative sometimes.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's oh my God.
I love
the head. Thank you
like,
for digging that out.
Yeah,
that was,
really.
That was amazing.
Well, since you don't have anything that you can talk about yet,
yeah, I mean, I wish I could, but it's just like if I could stay in the United States, I would prefer that, just because everything here is a little bit more sure than out of the country. That's the only reason I'm waiting, and because of my mother's health right now as well, I would prefer to be in the United States. But obviously in the next 2 weeks, if nothing happens for those U.S. companies, I probably will end up outside of the United States. So, yeah.
Well, so probably a good spot to wrap it up. Was there anything that you came here wanting to talk about that we missed, or did you have any questions for any of us? Or
I think what you all do is absolutely amazing for artists in the community, and we definitely need that more, especially after COVID. I think artists need a spotlight. They need a platform, especially to be positive, like positive conversations, not sad conversations.
Definitely.
I had too many sad conversations last year. Sorry to everyone who interviewed me then, but it was really sad. You all made me cry. And just like a platform to also get out there, because everything's opening up now, like musicians, theater, dancers, touring shows, bands, like all that. And people need jobs. Yeah. We're poor. Like even artists, and like there's several art shows coming up too. And it's like artists need that, So yeah, and I'm very thankful for you all. So
Yeah, geez, thank you.
I definitely do think my sport needs in general more coverage because people are like know what ice skating is only at the Olympics and they only know what Olympic ice skating is. Show skating is pretty awesome too. Yeah, I know that there are several shows in the U.S. Coming out. There are some open right now. Them being in Florida and in the beach in Maryland. I don't know why I'm mind blanking on the beach name, but in the Carousel Hotel, there's a show going on right now. Yay. The Ice Theater of New York is doing a lot of upcoming stuff, especially at Bryant Park. And a lot of that's free, by the way, in New York City to attend. Okay. Yeah, because it's like out in the park. So people get to also like definitely Diversity on Ice, if everyone could go check them out. They're pretty amazing as well. And
you're exposing us.
Yeah, Diversity on Ice and yeah.
That's
Ice
awesome.
Theater of New York. So
yeah, go out and go see an ice show. I think I've seen one.
You've seen one? What ice show have you seen?
Do you remember? I think it was at the Scope.
Disney on Ice?
Probably.
Or was it Cirque du Soleil? Because both have played there recently.
I can't remember.
I do not remember.
They're very
I saw Disney on Ice.
different.
Yeah.
But I was a kid. I saw that
You're a child.
Hampton Coliseum. And
yes.
I was a kid.
They do go there too.
It was like VHS days. So it was like
High School Musical?
It was way before High School Musical.
Oh my gosh, you were lucky.
Yeah, I went. It was like
there's
the
some famous
princesses
people
and
on
Aladdin
those shows.
and
You probably saw my coach Ross Lancel.
maybe I don't remember, and I don't
Not
remember what it
from
was. I think I got a Dumbo sippy cup.
Oh, you lucky man.
I don't think it exists anymore, but I'm pretty sure it was like drinking out of the like the thing, the snout or whatever.
Snout? You mean the trunk?
Yeah, trunk. That's the word I was looking for. I was gonna just not even say a word. Now I wish I hadn't.
Fun fact: Dumbo is my favorite Disney movie next to Peter Pan, and like the part in the movie where he's like, "You need your magic feather to fly." That's kind of like
I've never seen it. Yeah. I
am shooketh.
I don't need to be destroyed by another guest on the fact that I don't watch movies.
It's okay.
The Andrew Hales episode just came out. He said I have no friends.
Oh my gosh. No, you probably saw a lot of famous skaters on that show. That's like
I hope days. I did.
Yeah.
I've like wow.
Well, Disney
the memory
on
of it
Ice
is like a dream.
is coming back, so and definitely through here. So definitely be checking their website. Mm-hmm. They will have 5 shows up and running through the United States by December. Go support your ice skater.
Also, check out her Instagram and all of her socials. Yeah, because I assume there's going to be an announcement at some point.
Oh yeah.
About what she's going to be doing, so you can start.
And
following
I'm going to be blogging about it too, because apparently people like my ice skating, and so like wherever I end up, I'll be like, oh, this city too, and like really trying to emphasize like some local places too. So like when you guys travel,
if you had like a vlog, it would be so interesting. Like just behind the scenes of your world would be so cool.
I try to do like some stuff on stories, and I want to do more like a writing blog kind of thing with videos as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. Keep an eye out on all of that. But that's probably a good spot to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back again next week. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't like say because
no, it's fine.
If like some people saw
like
it'll get really.
Yeah. So that's totally fair.
Yeah. No, I'm just waiting to hear back from Disney Creative Entertainment. Ice Creative